So I am coming back to you today as Business Barbie, except I have gotten a promotion. The whole reason I'm even in this costume outfit is because I went to a birthday party just now, today. I've just gotten home from it. And the theme of the birthday party was Barbie, the birthday girl. She really liked Barbie, and we all dressed up as different kinds of Barbies, and I decided to go as Business Barbie because I really wanted to wear this blazer. And luckily I had this dress already in my closet that I didn't know what to wear it to. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. I'm just gonna pair them and be Business Barbie. And when I got there, they were all like, are you President Barbie? So I was like, oh, I guess so. Because like 3 or 4 people asked me that. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm President Barbie now. So that was fun. And one of the things that we did at the birthday party was we watched the Barbie movie. And I had seen it just on a plane one day when I don't even know when or where that was. It was a little while ago. And the one and only thing that I remembered from it really was America Ferrera's monologue. And I was really floored by that. And watching it again today, I think we just are changing as people, almost, I think, on a moment-to-moment basis. You know, everything that you learn, everything that you absorb in the world is imprinting on you and having an effect on you. And I wanted to sit down and do a video just about how the movie made me feel, what it made me think. And I know this is like so outdated. No one's even really talking about the Barbie movie anymore or thinking about it. And that's actually one of the things that I want to comment on today, and like that I wish was different. Because I remember when the movie came out, I felt like people had really positive reviews of the movie. And I felt like people were really moved by it. And I think it made me kind of sad that it seemed like that movie set out to make a big impact in society, is what I presume. And that, from my perspective, maybe doesn't seem like it's happening. And so I would love to be challenged by that. I would love to know that my small world that I live in is not the whole story. But at the same time, I want to speak from inside of my world that I live in, and I want to get the message going again. And so I have so much to talk about. There's so many great points that I wanted to unpack that I think about so constantly. And I felt like there were some parts of the movie that confused me about what the message actually was. Because we do have the message of Ken being encouraged to go out there and make his own identity. Then we have the message of women are in power and should be in power. Then we have the message of men wanting to be, kind of praised and worshipped and served. And at some points, I couldn't tell what was a commentary on what was going on right now versus what the hope and intention of the movie were for things to end up as. And if I think about just the ending, it was for Barbie to get in touch with her humanity, and pairing the scene with her and Rhea Perlman, I think that's who played Ruby. I'm forgetting now who the creator of Barbie, what her name was. But I think it was Rhea Perlman who played her. And at the end, it was this encouragement of like feeling inside yourself is how you get in touch with your humanity. And that paired with when America Ferrera's character talks about a ordinary Barbie made me think that like that was one of the messages that they wanted you to take away, was just like, it's okay to be ordinary, you know, it's okay to just like not have to achieve and do anything. And I loved so much the top that Ken was wearing that said, "I am Knuff." I remember when I saw that the second time, I remember seeing it the first time and going, that is so special. I love that so much. And to me, those messages were the same for men and for women. Like, I'm enough as I am. And, you know, there's this like self-discovery portion of it too. Ken goes out and he finds out who Ken is supposed to be, is kind of like his next journey. Barbie's next chapter is finding out who she is supposed to be, was one of the other closing takeaways from the movie. But what I wanted to do was break down some of the things that I've been seeing in my own world, and I feel like in society, just on the internet, with a lot of the, you know, male-centric podcasts and things like that I've been seeing, and also kind of what we are calling, you know, our feminist movement. And some of this may be, it's all my opinion. However, I do feel like there is a lot of evidence to back up the things that I'm going to say, and I am only going to speak from what I've actually seen and how I have been able to just use my pattern recognition is the way that I process things, and like take what I feel like people's behaviors and their actions are, even what their words are, and kind of decode what's underlying. So I'm going to get started in doing that, and I'm going to use the Barbie movie to help me do it. So one of the first things that I saw that stood out to me, and I'm not necessarily going to go in chronological order of the movie to make my points, but I'll try to tie things together as I go. And the first thing I want to talk about is how we get to the real world. And Ken is seeing that males are kind of who's in control, who's in charge, and he goes back to Barbie land, and he's kind of like, this is the way it should be, and I feel awesome about this. And then women are the female Barbies, well, the Barbies, they are, you know, kind of like, okay, I am not gonna fight this. It kind of feels like, one of the Barbies I think said like, it just feels like my brain is at the spa. And what they're doing is they are serving the Kens, they're giving them beer, they're giving them foot rubs and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna leave that there, but that's the first thing that I wanted to just comment on. So then I'm gonna make notes while I talk, because I really want to tie everything together. And I think when I really start getting excited about a topic sometimes, I want to go in 10 different directions. So I'm going to make notes so that I can make sure to tie my points back together. So the first thing is, Kens want to be in control, and the Barbies shut their brain off and are feeling like it's a day at the spa. So let's go to point number 2 then. I think the next thing that I saw was, I have so much to say. Oh my God. We have, you know, stereotypical Barbie, Margot Robbie's character, and she is kind of living her life. She's Barbie girl, Barbie world. She's got her house, and she is kind of living for Barbie, living for women, and Ken is obviously into her. And what does it say at the beginning? Ken only has a good day, I think, if Barbie looks at him. So that's point number 2 that I want to throw out there. And I want to comment on that in a sec. Then, this is kind of a side note, but I do think it's worth saying. Speaking of the president, there was a point in particular where they were like, oh, the president's here. And she's like, I am, or something like that. And she's like, you're welcome. And that was one scene. But I noticed throughout the movie, in the beginning where you're introduced to the Barbies, they're like receiving prizes, and they're like, I want to thank me. I want to thank myself. I want to thank the Barbies, and stuff like that is kind of what you're seeing. And they are taking credit for the work that they've done. So let me write that down too. And actually, I think I'll leave it right there for now. So let's get started. Those are my 3 major points. And so, what did this make me think and feel? I think the first thing I thought was, we as a society, it seems like we're on this pendulum swing right now, and everyone is getting hurt. And I think about the scene where Ken, he's being kind of mean to Barbie. He kicks her out of her house, and he's got like the Mojo Dojo Casa House. And he's like, this is my house. How does it feel? Like, that there's no room for you, you know, that there's no thought about including you or anything like that. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about there was like, we see Ken, who has dedicated his identity to making Barbie the center of his universe. And he continues to do this for however long time works in Ken's brain up until this point. And he is salty. He's so hurt that all this time he's been devoting this time, attention, care, love to Barbie, and she has given him nothing. And where have we seen that before? Most women have experienced that in their life, that you meet a boy or a man at some point in your life, and they think that because they show up for you, they are entitled to your time, your attention, your affection, your praise, whatever. And when they don't get it, they try to hurt you. They want to hurt you. They want you to feel what they feel. And I thought that was so heartbreaking. Because there's so many layers. There's so many layers here. So that was one of the things. Is like, as a man, we don't teach our boys and we don't teach our men that you are not entitled to a woman's anything. You're not entitled to a woman's anything. And if you give a woman time, attention, affection, money, any of your resources, you must do that because you want to. Not because you're starting a ledger of debt so that she owes you. And that if she doesn't pay you, reciprocate in the ways that you feel like you're entitled to, because again, refer to a couple sentences ago, you are not entitled to anything that a woman has. And if you don't get that reciprocity that you think that you're entitled to, your next move is to attack her, to try to hurt her. Challenge yourself, men, because if you are a man listening to this video, it is your responsibility to regulate your emotions, to put yourself in situations where people are treating you the way that you deserve. Because guess what? You do deserve reciprocity. You absolutely deserve reciprocity. You deserve to be cared for. You deserve to be loved. and respected. I think about then this next portion of it, right? Where Ken comes back and he has Barbie world, Barbie land completely changed. And what do the men want? They want that praise. They want that admiration. They want that service. It is right to want that. It's okay to want that. You have to stop trying to take it, though. You have to start trying to put yourself in situations where people want to give it to you reciprocally because of them honoring and respecting you for who you are, because you are enough, right? Putting yourself in situations where you are, this person is showing up for me, I'm showing up for them, and those are the relationships I want to be in. It is your responsibility to not give a woman things that make you feel like you are in deficit to earn your place in her life. And then to attack her or try to hurt her. If she thought you were giving of your full heart, but there was a secret contract that you were drawing up every time you gave, that's not fair. It's not fair. So what else do I think? I think that women also have a responsibility in this dynamic. Obviously, Barbie is a fictional character. And from before this point, she had no awareness, so to speak, in her conscious mind or whatever. But in reality, women, stop accepting things from men whom you do not want in your life. Stop accepting things from them. Stop accepting their resources. Stop accepting their time. Stop calling people that you know have feelings for you. And you want to make yourself feel like you're less lonely in the moment. Work on that internal validation. Stop using our men for that. And I'm guilty of this too, and I'm trying to walk this walk too. I was in a situation where I had a pretty massive crush on someone in my life very recently. And there were some things that he was doing for me that were like these small ways to provide for me and care for me. And I did have, like I said, a crush on him. But there were several things that continued to happen that made me feel pretty sure that he was not a person that I could continue to pursue romantically or be in an emotionally safe situation with. He just had some compatibility issues that I thought were pretty big. And I had to stop myself and go, stop using his resources. Because what it does is it creates this confusing mess. And another situation I had like that was where there was a person who they had feelings for me and I did not feel the same. But I liked talking to them as a friend, and I felt like I was less lonely if I hung out with that person. And I had to teach myself and go, fill your own bucket with people that you know aren't creating these covert contracts between you and them. because not everybody in your orbit is going to be healthy. And I knew that at this point in time, he was not a man that I could rely on to give me things of his free spirit and not feel like there was something that I was going to be indebted to him because of. And the reason I say that is because I started feeling a lot of resentment coming from him in our friendship. And he had asked me out and I had said no. And I made it pretty clear with my words that I was not going to have any intention of going forward and dating him. But I wanted to keep hanging out and I wanted to keep being friends. And I could see that he was not able to make the decision that was right for him, which was to set a boundary with me. And what I realized is that that meant that I had to set the boundary because I wasn't in a friendship with someone who was offering things to me without feeling like I owed them something else than I was offering in return. The next thing I want to say is that the whole Ken only has a good day if Barbie looks at him. Let's look at the men in our life who want to be there and show up for us and praise them. Men want to be praised. Men want to be admired. They want to be needed. I mean, the commentary was kind of like sarcastic about men, like we'll just pretend to not know that much. And it broke my heart because I have been seeing that so much in my real day-to-day life where it seems like the more self-fulfilled I feel as a woman, the more I trigger the men around me. So I really resonated with this idea that to make a man feel good, you have to dim yourself. You have to pretend that, oh, I don't know how the Photoshop select tool works, right? Was an example in the movie. And, oh, I don't really feel very pretty was another example in the movie. I have seen that so much in the recent days of my life, that to make a man feel comfortable and safe, it does feel like the option is to dim myself down in some way. And the more confident I feel, the more beautiful I feel, the smarter I feel like I get, the more intelligent discourse I can have, the more I'm able to support myself and don't need anybody else's resources on my own, the more I feel men being threatened by me. And this is a total deep topic for another day that I have notes about that I can't wait to talk about. But I thought that the better I became as a person, the more self-actualized I became as a person, the more men would actually desire me. And that's not true. Not in today's world. And so I say that to say this, is that we've gone so far the other way against what is this patriarchy in our society. And it's true, it exists. I suffer at the hand of it, and we all suffer at the hand of it, including men. Men suffer at the hand of the patriarchy because you even hear the CEO of Mattel, Will Ferrell's character, go, I sometimes just want to have like a team event where we go and we tickle each other, you know? Men want this. Men want to be connected. Men want to cry. You know, Ken was crying in the bed and Barbie goes, are you okay? And he sticks his thumb up. Men don't feel safe to cry. And you know who did that to you? It's not women. It's society, the patriarchal society that we live in. It is not a girlfriend who broke up with you. It is not someone who didn't want to date you. Our society has made it so that you as a man cannot safely cry. And so what we did as women, who rightfully felt extremely abused and oppressed by the patriarchy, we have now gone and made it so that men feel even more unsafe to express their emotions and their feelings in this world. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the suffering as a result of being in relationships with men who have completely devalued me. And I feel that temptation to say men this and men that. And this movie reminded me something that I really felt like I was starting to lose touch with just because I am so tired. This movie reminded me that men want to just feel needed and appreciated and loved and safe. And so my next point, and maybe I'll close soon after this, who knows? My next point is that so do women. Women want to feel loved and cared for, admired, appreciated, served, and safe. And it would be a complete disservice if I didn't read America Ferrera's monologue on this, because like I said, when I first saw the movie, this is the thing that stuck with me the most. And it was just as powerful this time around. And I hope that, I don't know what the rules are to read something verbatim from a movie, but I'm going to read it and figure that out retroactively if there's a problem. So here we go. It is literally impossible to be a woman. Like, we always have to be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. You have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin. You have to want to be healthy, but you also have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women because you're supposed to be part of the sisterhood. But always stand out and always be grateful, but never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. And you have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory. And nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. Sorry. I don't know why I don't set a box of tissues here while I do this podcast, because you would think I would learn by now. I can just feel the weight on my shoulders being there and lifted a little bit by whoever wrote these words, because I feel so seen. I feel so validated. It's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal and says thank you. And it turns out that, in fact, not only are you doing everything wrong, but it is also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every other single woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. And that brings me to the part in the movie where the Barbies turn toward the Kens who want to bring patriarchy to Barbie land because they're tired. They want to just feel like their brain is at the spa. Because being a woman is hard and being a man is hard. And I know that, like, each of my videos gets, like, maybe 3 views, 4 views if one of them is me. And I just really hope that people hear this and they go, I want to be a part of something new. And I want to stop using my femininity to cut men down and cut myself down. And I want to stop using my masculinity to cut women down and cut myself down. We need each other. We need each other. We need to stop hurting each other. We need to live in a world where if we achieve something and we take credit for the good work that we do, somebody doesn't feel the need to put us back in our place. That we can just go, yeah, you did do that. That was one of the things I really liked earlier in the movie when the Barbies were introducing themselves. And you got to see them go, oh, like I said, I want to thank me. So I'll stop it there because I think I made my point. I did an episode a couple of weeks ago about Toy Story 5. And I hoped that because that movie existed, that proves that I don't think I'm awesome or special or whatever. Like, I can't be the only person that feels this way. And so seeing the movie Toy Story 5 really encouraged me because I'm like, okay, other people feel this way about the message that I took away from that movie. And then when I thought about the Barbie movie and how much talk came after it, and then now I don't hear anybody talking about what they took away from that movie, then I felt discouraged. So this is my small effort to reignite that. And I hope that this video finds the people who need to hear it and who feel the same way. And I hope it finds people who will be glad to hear somebody who can relate to them. Thanks for listening.